Hey guys, welcome to the video. Hope you enjoy. June 26, 2015 was a monumental day in the United States. That day marked the start of legal same-sex marriage. It's currently 2019, and since 2015, a lot of closed LGBT members have been able to open up. It's a safer space than decades before when being gay could get you killed. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still closed-minded people out there in the world that would probably still try to harm or be disgusted by an LGBT member, but that kind of behavior is not as tolerated as it was. Of course, legalizing same-sex marriage did have some problems. A legal dispute broke out, for instance, where a baker didn't want to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. There was also talk of store owners being able to legally ban gay people from their establishments. And of course, employees getting fired because they were gay. The teaching community was not exempted from this. In fact, being openly gay and a teacher almost always results in termination or harassment. In a world where it is legally acceptable to marry the person someone loves despite gender, LGBT members are still struggling. Teachers are almost forced into silence about themselves and can't be as honest as straight teachers about their relationships. In an interview with Heather Lee, a straight female teacher at Northrop High School, she had this to say. The few LGBT teachers I knew of felt they had to keep that part of their life hidden. They were certainly very cautious about revealing that part of their lives openly. Male teachers in particular talked about how they were concerned that they would be accused of sexual misconduct by students or parents. LGBT teachers constantly have to walk on eggshells about who they are and careful who they choose to tell about their sexuality. In Catherine Cannell's Schools Out, Gay and Lesbian Teachers in the Classroom, she tells the true story of Barbara. Barbara was a lesbian teacher teaching at a private school in 2008. She wasn't out to her fellow peers as the director of her school was hostile towards gay and lesbian teachers. He had fired previous teachers after they had confided in him. Barbara, unfortunately, was fired as well after the director made sexual advances on her and she confessed she was a lesbian. Oh, get out of here, creep. Bye-bye. A similar story happened in Hawaii in 1976, almost 40 years before same-sex marriage became legal. A teacher by the name of Arnie Cicillo was fired from a school in Hawaii when his supervisor, didn't give a name, so we're just going to call her Susan, found out that he was gay. And she strictly fired him because he was gay and she was Mormon and it offended her beliefs. How rude, Susan. A legal lawsuit was filed, but I couldn't find the end result. But I like to think that he has a nice little beach house somewhere. He has a smiling, happy face. Anyway, what happened to Arnie can only be described as one thing: discrimination. And it's not cool, man. Aside from teachers potentially losing their jobs for being gay or lesbian, they also risk harassment. As Heather Lee stated, it seems to be a point of concern for parents that somehow being taught by a member of the LGBT community will influence their child to go gay. This is a legitimate concern from parents, which is beyond absurd. Children just don't decide that they're gay because a teacher or someone they respect is. They're either born gay or not, and either way, it's totally cool. Barbara also had concerns that her students' parents would find out about her sexuality and accuse her of changing the course of their child's development. Parents, as most school systems know, are big contributors to complaints and problems. Social media has also allowed outraged parents to voice their complaints publicly and get exactly what they want. For example, at my old high school, our school district was notorious for never giving out 2-hour delays or cancellation, even on the worst snow days. Parents would post on different social media platforms and berate the district board for letting kids travel in such horrible conditions. After a few months of the constant social media retaliation, the school district allowed parents to call students in and have their absences excused for the nasty weather. Just like with my weather example, parents can complain about teachers who are gay or lesbian, and most of the time get them fired just on that premise. Luckily, things are getting better. There are a few legal matters that protect LGBT workers from being fired just for being gay. However, they can be a tad bit tricky and picky with who they affect. Unfortunately, there is no federal law that expressly prohibits employment discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. However, LGBT workers across the U.S. have called upon Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibits workplace discrimination on the basis of sex, to take their employers to court. In April 2017, the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of educator Kimberly Hively, arguing that her employment termination due to her sexual orientation is in fact covered by Title VII protections. The 11th Circuit, by contrast, declined in December of 2017 to reconsider the case of another woman, Jemica Evans, who also alleged employment discrimination on the basis of her sexual orientation and gender nonconformity. Like I said, tricky, but even so, the numbers of employees fired for their sexual orientation have decreased quite a bit, but it's not completely gone. Hopefully one day it won't matter so much if a teacher is gay or not. As Heather Lee stated, for me personally, this is a non-issue. It shouldn't affect a person's job performance or respect. I try very hard to stop thinking about people as labels and just to think about them as humans. As Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that my children will be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. For me, this applies to any label I might give a person, including their sexuality. Alright guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I opened up your minds to an issue that is slowly decreasing, but it's still there. So, bye guys!